with virtual guarantee that your next day you'd have your best show ever. You wouldn't sleep right. You'd think about it all day. But in sports, we tend to think what I saw last night is going to be the next night. So Golden State's going to hear for 2 days. Soft, embarrassing. My gut feeling is Houston found something, but I'm not sure they can duplicate that.
No, it's going to be very difficult. Remember, they only played 7 guys the entire game. And Golden State was playing without Andre Iguodala.
Who's valuable?
Incredibly valuable. If not, listen, Andre Iguodala is not a particularly good shooter. And so when I say that they were playing 3-on-5 offensively, because you have 2 non-shooters. Draymond Green won't look at the basket as far as shooting jump shots anymore. He didn't even make a dunk last night. He has lost all of his offensive confidence as a scorer, not as a facilitator. So they're playing 3-on-5, and when Steph comes off the floor, they're playing 2-on-5. The court really shrinks, and Kevin Durant has to be having flashbacks of, hey, it's like playing with Andre Robertson. Everywhere I go, there's a second guy there. It's increasingly difficult.
Yes.
The difference is when Iguodala's on the floor, he knows exactly where he's supposed to be. He understands perfect spacing. He plays in an area below the backboard at times called the ghost position, to where if you leave him, you just throw it up to the rim, he can get an alley-oop. Last night they had Jordan Bell, they had Kayvon Looney. Those young kids were just lost as to where am I supposed to be. And even Sean Livingston on the floor, who's a non-shooter, kind of in the way, so that Steph couldn't be Steph, KD couldn't be KD, and of course, I don't know what happened to Klay Thompson. He's on Ariza Island, I guess, because that was the worst execution, the worst spacing, the worst shot selection I have seen from the Warriors. They got a couple of defensive stops at the right time and somehow still had a shot to win the game.
That's what's remarkable to me. Doug, if I give you the numbers, outside of that 12-0 start and that 4 minutes of Steph being amazing, I felt like Houston was just a little, even on inbound plays.
Even the 12-0 start, which everybody's like, wow, 12-0 start. They should have been up 20-0, 25-2, because Houston was just not making shots out of the gate. But Golden State, in their Golden State sort of way, you know, they throw the ball away. They miss a layup here. They miss a shot there. You're right. Now, you're right in that Houston probably outplayed them if you took away the start and you took away Steph just going nuts. in the middle of the third quarter.
Absurd.
I mean, he was 1 of 11 after his big shimmy, and they called timeout. He couldn't make a shot. On the other hand, that's also what Golden State does. Like, they're just okay, and then all of a sudden they hit you at 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and you look up, you're like, wait. We were even with them, and now they were down 12 points, 82-70, I think. So you're right, only that is more par for the course for Golden State.
Well, it is interesting. If I think, and this is the way basketball works, I've seen 4 Celtic Cav games. I'm not sure what the true game is.
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay, I've seen 4 games with Houston Golden State. Here's what I feel the true game is. If you go back to game 1, Golden State was better, a little more skilled, and just made those tough shots because you can't defend KD. Of the 4 Houston Golden State games, game 1 feels like what it is. Both wanted to win. There was urgency, and Golden State was just 7% better.
That's totally fair. On the other hand, series sometimes hinge on, can a team steal a game? And I felt like Houston stole one last night. Yes, we both agree. For a good portion of the game, they were the better team, but still, that was thievery, right? I mean, that was Steph misses a dead layup, and then Draymond misses 1 or 2 free throws. Heck, Steph was wide open on that last play with 0.5 seconds to go.
He was.
Look, there's a bunch of things to get to. I still don't. Somebody's going to have to stop and explain to me why Chris Paul made the second free throw, the math to it. There's 0.5 seconds to go in the game. 0.5. Okay? All he has to do, he misses the first free throw. If he makes both, it's 4 points. It doesn't matter. But he misses the first free throw. So it's a 2-point game, and obviously if you make it, it's a 3-point game, and the math would tell you, okay, that takes losing out of the equation. But you can't go length of the floor, and even if you get the rebound and call a timeout, you're going to lose time. It made no sense. As good as Houston played defensively, and look, they really mugged it up. They just grabbed and held.
They did.
And the officials swallowed the whistles for the most part.
Which they do in the conference finals and finals.
And that's the way to beat Golden State. That's the way that Oklahoma City beat Golden State in the regular season. Everyone knows if you can be super physical with Steph, sometimes he'll settle. Same thing with Kevin Durant. He took a turnaround jump shot from the post, which hit the side of the backboard. It was embarrassing. But they mugged it up. and the officials swallowed the whistles, and Golden State collapsed.
Okay.
But it doesn't make any sense for Chris Paul to make that second free throw.
Okay, so I want to go to the final possession because in my opening rant, one of the things I said is if LeBron went 740 without making a shot tonight, final 740, and 350 without taking a shot, and then on the final play with 12 seconds left, got 6'5" Jaylen Brown to switch over him, which KD did with P.J. Tucker, and passed it off, we would spend 3 hours destroying it. Here's the final play. Let's watch it sound up, and I want you to comment. Go ahead.
Rebound Green. Durant moves it across. Final seconds. Here's Thompson for the tie, and that will do it.
Now, I know everyone's going to question Steve Kerr. Should he have called a timeout? They've been in this situation plenty of times. What could you possibly draw up when you've got Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry on the floor?
Okay, first of all, should Steve Kerr have called the timeout?
I mean, I don't know if he should run something or call a timeout, but that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So I don't care if you call a timeout, but you mean to tell me you didn't have a plan in place for if Houston misses a shot? Remember, Golden State got to stop. They did what they're supposed to do. They got to stop. It's 2 points. There has to be something they just kind of went into flow, which just go play. Draymond Green set a high ball screen. I do think that KD thought he saw something and probably actually he passing the ball to Klay Thompson in the corner is not a bad decision.
Right.
It's just he gave it to him actually a tinge too quick because Klay didn't have his feet set. And then there's Klay's there, KD's there, and Steph's right there. There's no spacing.
But okay, let me defend Kerr on this. This is not a young team like Boston or Utah with Donovan Mitchell. This is a veteran team. Could I make the argument for Kerr is, I got KD in this league 10 years. I got Kerr. These are high-functioning, high-IQ players. I'm on the sidelines. I'm like, fellas, this is why we get along. I let you play.
Fair, with the exception of this. This is what their offense had looked like the entire fourth quarter.
Okay.
Right? So in the grand scheme of things, yeah, you got Kevin Durant, you got Steph Curry. Neither are really point guards, but they can both initiate. You just kind of spread them out and let them play. The problem is they hadn't seemed to figure out anything with this Houston defense in the fourth quarter. Now, going back to what you said about Kevin Durant, right, where we would be killing LeBron James if he did the same thing. That's essentially what Chris Broussard said on First Things First earlier today. Take a listen to this.
Okay, let me hear that.
10 seconds left. They're down 2. Kevin Durant's coming down the court. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is easy money. Durant's going to take a mid-range jumper because he's been killing them all series with that. He gets to about 17 feet on the wing. All he has to do is pull up. We've been talking about what? Nobody's tall enough to guard him. Shooting, exactly. And he gives it up. If LeBron James did that, that would be the story. That would be the number one lead today would be why didn't LeBron shoot?
That's preaching to the choir.
Okay, now let's go in fairness. When they lost to Indiana, in a couple rounds ago in the playoffs, LeBron was bad in the fourth quarter, a -9, only 4 points. I don't believe you went on a rant or a tangent about how bad LeBron was. When they lost to Boston in Game 1. He didn't score a point in the fourth quarter, didn't make a shot in the fourth quarter. He was a -14. In Game 1 to Toronto, when they did win, he was 3 of 11 in the fourth quarter. So there have been moments to which you haven't called him out. There have been. He's been bad. We've said, hey, his teammates need to pick him up because he carries them the first 3 quarters. I'll say this. Kevin Durant was awful in the fourth quarter.
He was.
Embarrassingly bad.
For the second best player in the world.
Yeah, I think I personally think right now, skill set wise, he's the best player in the world.
Okay.
Last night he was not. Shot an air ball from 3, which was tested. Shot a turnaround jump shot, hit the backboard, and made a bad decision on that last play. On the other hand, the great thing is there are more games to be played. I think he was thinking too much about those 2 previous possessions and that they were bad shots and he was forcing them. He made up his mind before he ever even he never looked at the basket. We're talking about P.J. Tucker. If you watch him come off that screen, he didn't even look at the basket. He had made it up in his mind that he was going to give it up and maybe get it back if somebody else helped off him. It was an awful decision. And we'll see if he reacts better or worse, and this becomes a pattern of behavior the rest of the series.
Okay, I'm going to blow your mind on something. Well, I'm going to try to. I have a theory on something, and I want to throw it to you because you're a basketball player and you got a lot of connections. But I have a theory on something which we're seeing not only from all NBA guys, but superstar NBA players, all of them. Not one of them, All of them, and we'll talk about that coming up with Doug Gottlieb. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. You start to notice it, it's too late. Easier to keep what you have than try to regrow the stuff that you've lost, right? That's where you go to 4hims.com. 4hims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. They connect you with real doctors, medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. This is not like gas station counter supplements. Snake oil pills. These are prescriptions, solutions backed by science. You don't have to go to a doctor. Save hours by going to 4hims.com. Few questions, doctor reviews it, prescribes it, product shipped directly to your door. Right now, my listeners, for $5, while supplies last, get a trial month.